welcome to this explainer. Okay, today we're tackling something that hits home for a lot of us. We are breaking down the exact mathematical reason why building wealth initially feels like an absolute complete failure. Seriously, it's a psychological trap that catches almost everyone, and it is the core reason so many people just throw in the towel right before they're about to win. To really wrap our heads around this trap, I want to hook you with a classic riddle. Picture a pond, and in that pond is a single lily pad that doubles in size every single day. Now, on day 30, it completely covers the pond. So the question is, what day was the pond half covered? Take a guess.
The answer is day 29. Now really think about what that means in reality. On day 28, it was only a quarter covered, right? And on day 27, just an eighth. For the vast majority of those 30 days, that pond looked practically empty. And this perfectly mirrors why the slow, flat years of early investing trick most of us into giving up. You check your account, the progress feels microscopic, and your brain just automatically assumes the system is totally broken. So let's dive into this conflict that's happening right inside your own head. On one side, we've got our linear brain. It expects steady, visible progress every day. You know, if you walk a mile, you see the distance change. It makes sense. But on the other side, we have exponential reality. And exponential reality looks like absolutely nothing for a very long time, and then suddenly it's everything. The absolute crucial takeaway here is that this slow, flat phase isn't some sort of mistake. It is mathematically required for the curve to actually bend upward later on. And if you're struggling with this, you are definitely not alone. Vanguard recently put out their 2025 report, and the median American 401k balance sits at $38,176. Now, if you hold that number up against the $1 million target the financial industry is constantly pushing, you're gonna feel this massive, incredibly frustrating gap. The growth literally feels like a rounding error. But here's the truth. You aren't standing still. You're just stuck in that invisible pre-explosion phase where the base is being built. Section 1, Math of the Invisible Decade. Let's look at the actual math behind this invisible period. Historically, the engine behind this wealth-building fire is the S&P 500. According to nearly a century of data from NYU Stern, the index returns about 10% per year on average. And it's super important to note that this includes about 2% from reinvested dividends. Those are the silent engines that turn good returns into great ones. Now, there's a brilliantly simple mental model to understand what 10% actually means for your money, and it's called the Rule of 72. All you do is divide 72 by your expected annual return. So 72 divided by 10 is 7.2. That gives you a tangible ticking clock. Basically, at a 10% return, your money doubles in nominal value roughly every 7 years. And mapping this out brilliantly illustrates exactly how these doublings stack up over time. Say we start with $80,000. That very first double adds $80,000. Nice, but nothing crazy. The second double adds $160,000. But fast forward to the fourth doubling, going from $640,000 to $1.28 million, that single jump adds $640,000. I mean, think about that. That last doubling adds more wealth than the first three combined. This explosion isn't just a metaphor, it is pure, undeniable arithmetic. This brings us to some profound wisdom inspired by the late Charlie Munger, who understood this psychological hurdle better than anyone. He basically noted that the invisible decade is where your own contributions do all the heavy lifting, while the market seems to do absolutely nothing. That first doubling, it's the absolute hardest. It's the smallest in dollar amount, it takes the longest time to feel real, but, and this is key, it is the critical seed for every single explosion that follows. Section 2, the real crossover point. So, if that $1 million target is just too far away to actually be motivating, when does the math really turn in your favor? Let's shift our focus to the real crossover point, because it's very different from the arbitrary milestones you usually see online. You've probably heard that $100,000 is where the magic starts, right? Well, let's break that myth. Imagine a typical household contributing around $20,000 a year, counting employer matches. If your portfolio is at $100,000, a 10% return gives you $10,000 in growth. You're still putting in twice what the market is giving back. You're still the senior partner doing all the hard work. But flash forward to the $300,000 mark. Now the market is handing you $30,000 a year, which completely outpaces your own contributions. And that reveals the true crossover point. It happens somewhere right between $250,000 and $350,000, depending on your savings rate. This is the exact magical moment when the market finally becomes the senior partner. The growth overtakes your paycheck contributions, and compounding truly catches fire. But here is the stark, kind of depressing reality. Vanguard data shows only about 1 in 6 savers ever actually reaches this balance.
So why do so few people make it? Well, it's largely because of what we call the Year 7 trap. Just imagine you're saving $500 a month. By year 7, you've sacrificed dinners out, you've skipped vacations, and you have about $60,000 to show for it. Naturally, your brain is screaming that this is a total failure. Consequently, Vanguard participants typically quit their plan in year 5 or 6. They literally walk away right before their balance hits that crucial first doubling at $100,000 around year 9 or 10. They quit right before the curve bends upward.
Section 3. Surviving market crashes.
Now, we have to acknowledge the elephant in the room here. That 10% average, it is not a smooth, predictable escalator ride, not even close. To get those doublings, you have to survive an environment that is lumpy, totally unpredictable, and sometimes just psychologically brutal. Consider the early 2000s. From 2000 to 2009, investors suffered through a lost decade with a slightly negative annualized return. That included the massive 2008 crash, where the market dropped more than 50%. It takes immense discipline to keep investing when your balance is literally going backwards. But history proves that the people who stayed put, who kept buying at lower prices, saw their portfolios fully recover by 2013 and actually more than double by 2019. The crash was a discount, not a disaster for those who just held on.
So a super crucial point here is managing your expectations. That 10% return we keep talking about is nominal. When we adjust for inflation, which we absolutely have to do, the real historical return of the S&P 500 is about 6.8%. This means your actual purchasing power doubles roughly every 10.6 years, not 7.2. Inflation naturally eats a part of the explosion, meaning you just need to plan for slightly longer timelines to feel the real-world impact of your growing wealth.
Section 4, count doublings, not dollars. To survive those long timelines and avoid the mental traps we've talked about, we need a massive paradigm shift, one that completely changes how you view your financial finish line. Check out this incredible comparison. You have a 25-year-old who saves $5,000 a year for just 10 years, so putting in $50,000 total, and then she stops completely. Then you have a 35-year-old who starts later, saving that same $5,000 a year, but for 30 years straight, putting in a total of $150,000. Guess what? At age 65, the person who started at 25 has more money. Why? Because time in the market absolutely beats size. Her early dollars had 30 extra years to compound, which is roughly 4 extra doublings that the late starter could literally never catch up to. And as all those beautiful doublings stack up toward retirement, you have to know how to protect them. The exit code framework suggests 2 absolutely critical steps for this. First, be flexible. Use dynamic withdrawals that can adjust if the market crashes, rather than just rigidly pulling out 4% every single year. Second, you have to plan for the invisible bill, the massive out-of-pocket healthcare costs you could face if you retire before Medicare kicks in. That bill alone can completely wipe out your early gains if you aren't prepared. Let's bring all this to life with a quick example. Meet Margaret. Margaret is 45 years old and she has $80,000 saved up. She looks at that $1 million target everyone talks about and she feels completely behind. But here's the thing. Margaret isn't failing. She is actually standing on a launch pad because she is just 4 simple doublings away from $1.28 million. That initial $80,000, that is already the hardest work done. The exponential curve does not care about her starting age. It only cares about how many doublings she lets it run. And this completely reframes your entire financial journey. The biggest takeaway today is this. Stop staring at the $1 million target. It's just too far away and it's designed to make you feel like a failure. Instead, look at your current balance and just ask yourself, how many doublings are left? Doing this instantly turns those long, boring, flat years into an exciting countdown to your very next double. Those flat years aren't a weakness. They are the required engine for wealth. The voice in your head telling you to quit will always be the loudest right before the curve finally bends upward. So I want to leave you with a question. The very next time you log into your account and you feel that familiar frustration at the slow progress, will you abandon the invisible decade or will you stick around to protect your next doubling? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer and keep counting those doublings.